Alright, what is up, guys? We are out here at a new lake today. There's supposedly bass, walleye, and pike in here. I was just fishing for a little bit, got a strike. It looked like a smallie. But yeah, looks like the bluegills are bedding. It's a pretty shallow, like kind of man-made reservoir, but it's pretty clear. You can see the rocks and stuff. But we're over here on this dam side that's more rocky and a little bit deeper. So it's a little bit deeper over here, seeing if we can find some of those post-spawn bass or anything else that's kind of lurking along these rocks in the shallows. And that is kind of the goal for today. We'll be out here for a couple hours, probably till sunset, and see if we can hook up on some fish. But for now, we'll just see you guys out on the water. Oh, there was almost first fish of the day right there. Alright, what's up, guys? I've been fishing for a while now. However, we have not really had any good luck, and it's low-key kind of windy, so I was trying to move to a spot where I was on the side where the trees were blocking the wind. However, it's just like all marshy over here, so we have to go back. Either we're battling the wind the whole time. There is this one little bay that's super shallow, and there's like a ton of bluegill spawning in there. I think what I'm gonna do, just because I'm not having luck doing anything else, we might just whip out the fly rod and see if we can just start hammering some bluegill on a fly rod. Because, well, at this point, I'd rather catch some fish while I'm here than nothing at all. So we'll see you guys with the fly rod out, and hopefully, we can catch some bluegill on the fly rod, which, at the end of the day, isn't the worst thing, and it's still fun. And at a new location, sometimes you don't always catch all the big fish, but might as well catch some fish. Oh yeah, a fish is better than no fish, am I right? Whoa. Nice little green sunfish. Very pretty. Damn, feisty bugger. bro snagged. What? That's insane. Snagged in the spiky fin. Wasn't even in his mouth. That's cool. Oh, he was on for a second. Bass. Another one. Yeah. You know, I'll take catching these all day over catching nothing. However, we might need to get the pliers out for this, buddy. Can't lie. Nice. Oh, give me that. Oh no, he popped off. That was the biggest one though. Biggest one yet. Just gotta keep getting out deeper. For some reason they like it when you're pulling it. It's got movement. It might make it look harder for them to tell what it is. Seems when it's just sitting there, they don't try to hit it as hard either. Well, here's another one. This one's actually probably the biggest one so far. But go there. Well, as I'm sure you guys are aware, the bass fishing was a little slow this morning. So, in the wind. So we decided, why not get out of the wind? The bluegill are up shallow spawning, you know, and I'd rather catch some fish, no matter the size. So we whipped out the fly rod, and we've been just fishing with that. It's been working. We've been catching some bluegill. Have yet to catch a bass though. I think the bass have been nibbling it, but it just hasn't. They aren't quite as aggressive as the bluegill. So yeah, we'll keep doing this honestly, and then kind of just wasting time doing this till maybe later. Wind might be calmed down. I think the wind's calming down a little bit, but maybe the wind will be calmed down more, and we can try to do some more bass fishing, catch some good sized fish. But I will say, even these little bluegill on the fly rod are pretty fun. Who knows? A bass might just see the bluegill going after it and will take it for themselves. So we'll keep on keeping on doing this. Hopefully you guys like the, I mean, at this point, basically bluegill montage. So we'll keep on going, and we'll catch you guys in a bit. Alrighty. See, you got some fluffs on the line. Okay, so I can see bass out there. Let's see if I can get this guy to bite. He's traveling along the shallows. Just put it right there in front of him. There's a little bass looking at it, not the bigger one. You know, the bass might want something that sinks. Who knows? Oh, that's feisty. Is that a bass? Yeah. Now I will say, when the bass are hooked up, they are a little more feisty. But here we go. So yeah, this is a nice little largemouth bass that we just caught here. And then I'll show you guys the fly that we're using here in a second. So this right here is the Parachute Adams fly. They're basically like a good go-to like anytime, anywhere, because they look kind of like a lot of flies. I don't know, I'm just using it because it's kind of small, and the white tuff on the top makes it easy for me to see it. But we're going to go ahead and move spots now after catching that bass. I think we'll just continue on down this little crescent moon bay looking thing. And yep, just keep on catching a lot of fish. I do wonder if we went even smaller, our hookup ratio on these bluegill would probably go through the roof. I think it'd probably be a fish every cast. So I think right now they're just kind of missing the hook sometimes. It's a little too big. Or they're just nipping at its tail. You know, bluegill, when you're, or any sort of panfish, fishing for them with the soft plastic, they just bite off the tails. weeds. All right, the fly rod is away. We're going to see if we can maybe get some topwater action. See if there's a big bass out there. This water's nice and glassy right here. This is crazy. I'm using a frog lure and there's just hella bass trying to eat it, but they're all like super small. So they're just eating like the legs. I don't think I've ever had like an interaction like that. Oh yeah, there we go. Gotta get him through these weeds. Ew. On the frog. This is my first fish ever on a frog lure. You know, I've heard of people, you know, catching fish on them, whatnot, being like, yeah, they're good. I've never, ever caught a fish on a frog. Right there. Oh, there he goes. I think I need to help him out here. He's got it. Not even that big of a bass. Like a pound, maybe half a pound. But I casted the frog over there. It landed. Boom. Just jumped on it. So unfortunately, the frog lure did fly off and I was not able to get it. So we've had to do a little change in the ocean here. I don't have another frog lure, unfortunately. So we might be going back to the fly rod. For now, I'm gonna see if I can get anything on the popper. Oh, that was a good strike. That was a decent sized fish too. Definitely would have been the biggest fish. There we go. That's a good fish. We can get over these. Oh, he's still on there. Good. Oh yeah, this is a good fish. He's like in the weeds. Oh yeah. Come here, buddy. There we go. There we go. Topwater bass, baby. Look at that. On the whopper plopper. That's what we came here for. We were struggling. This wind is kicking our butt. But that's a nice large mouth right there. Pretty cool. Nothing like a topwater strike either. Yeah. There he is. Big old boy. Alright, we'll get a release on him here. Oh. Alright, so I wasn't filming, but I just got another strike. Well, actually he's on the whopper plopper. I think he's just in the weeds. Hold up. Oh my days, it's a pike. No wonder he took me into the weeds so hard. Nope, I'm gonna get hooked. This is probably the smallest pike I've ever caught in my life. This is what we call a hammer handle. Nice. Alright, hey guys, this will be the end of today's video. The wind, well, however much I would like to stay for, twilight, the wind, if anything, is getting worse, and definitely some dark clouds, dark stormy clouds have started to move in. So I unfortunately do not think the weather's going to get better, so we're going to call it there. However, I'll say it was not the worst. We kind of struggled off the bat, we got that strike from the bass right away. Kept on trying to find some more. Couldn't really find anything of good size. And, as good old Jeremy Wade did it, we just needed to feel anything. Just a tug on the line. You get that spirit back up. So we whipped out the fly rod, started fishing for some bluegill, and honestly, that was a lot of fun. If you're not catching anything and you see bluegill in the area, honestly, I would suggest trying that because it's pretty fun. And then that led to us kind of finding like where some bigger fish were. We were seeing splashes, threw on the frog lure. We're like, all right, hooking out, boom, caught my first bass on a frog lure, which is insane. I would not have thought that was going to happen. Then somehow the frog flew off. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. The swivel was still clicked, like the clasp was still, so I don't know. But, then we got another bigger bass and a pike on the whopper ploppers, so that was pretty good. I will say the water temp was very warm, like mid-70s at least, maybe even more. So I would say probably earlier in the year when the water's a little cooler, the weeds haven't grown as much, and if you were out on a boat, the fishing could be pretty good out here. I cannot lie. However, the weather is not staying in our favor, so we are going to have to leave, and that will be it for today's video. Look forward to the next video. I'm going camping on Flathead Lake. We'll be doing, camping activities, fishing, whatnot, and that should be a banger of a video. So stay tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe and put on that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and we will see you in the next one.